Okay, so hey, what's up, guys? Aiden Frill here. This time joined with Razorfang124, otherwise known as JM Juice, actually known as JC. Who knows?
True.
Ethan could not join us. He's busy, and if you guys are wondering, to be fair, I didn't tell him we were recording today. I just told him, "Oh, do you want to record?" I told him, "Do you want to record today?" And he was like, "Sorry, dude, I'm busy. Probably another time." And I was like, "Okay." By the way, today's Tuesday, so anything that happens between now and by the time this actually comes up, which will be on Saturdays, because I upload them on Saturdays. So whenever they actually pop up, like if anything happens, just know we don't know what's gonna happen for the rest of the week. It's just Tuesday.
True.
Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk to you about what basically me and Ethan talked about, and we're gonna talk about other stuff because we have other stuff in common. But first things first. Um, What's your name? How old are you? Why are you here? And what do you do?
Okay.
Oh wait, before you continue,
Well,
before you continue, I must mention he might cut out at different points. I have no issue with that. I can't control that.
I can't control it either. So if you're hearing any of what I'm saying is really up to my mic at this point. It's very retarded. But other than that, my name, I go by JC. You can call me Jonathan if you want. That's my actual legal name on my birth certificate. Um, I live in, California. I guess the best place to be in a way.
Eh.
Um, Yeah, I say that sparingly because I don't really think it is.
Also, he works at a
Unless
Walmart.
you, huh?
What?
I don't work at Walmart yet. I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah. I heard that.
Said yet, but and I guess that's technically what I do, and I rap on the side. With my group, the Sad Boy Club, or well, technically mine and Aiden's group because we're the only OGs left.
Yeah.
Besides, I guess
Well, I mean,
I will
technically,
consider Steven.
we can count Steven as one as well.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Besides Steven.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I do with my life other than sit and watch Netflix and Hulu all day.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the PS5 and Xbox Series X?
Well, I can be honest with you and say that the PS5 is less of an expectation than I wanted it to be. Yeah, there's quite a few PlayStation games in existence. I mean, like at least a good several 2,000 or so, give or take. That number might not be totally accurate. Um, I can say this much is that I wish it could have been backwards compatible like they're doing with the Xbox, where they've made it 100% backwards compatible. And I'm guarantee you they might have the same exact, almost maybe less amount of games. But I can understand PlayStation because they have PlayStation specific games, unlike the Xbox. Most Xbox stuff is always cross compatible with PC, PlayStation, and pretty much anything else nowadays, including the Switch at that. And that's what I find crazy to think about. You can play Skyrim on the Switch just as you can play it on any other console out there. So, to be honest, I wish both of them would have went different routes. I prefer a PlayStation because I like their exclusive games like God of War, um, mainly that one. I think Darksiders is another one like that.
So you mentioned backwards compatibility. I mean, Ethan talked about it because if you and I know some people don't actually watch the podcast, but if you do watch the first one, the first episode we did, the one before this one, um, you will see that yeah, me and Ethan had a whole episode about the PS5 and Xbox and all that good stuff. Um, my thoughts on backwards compatibility. Okay, my thoughts in general on the PS5 and Xbox. Um, Personally, I think that the PS5. Um, I mean, cause do you remember the original like supposedly original, put air quotes in there, and original design for the PS5? Hello, guys. I think he's dead. I'll just keep talking. Um, awkward. Um, yeah. What's it called? So yeah. So my thoughts exactly on the PS5 and Xbox is that I think Xbox could come up with probably a little bit of a better design, because I mean it could still live up to the box like what's it called moniker, but I didn't think it was gonna be like an actual like I think it's almost as tall as like, let's see, the this box I have just sitting here, which ironically enough is probably around the same size of an Xbox, so that's nice. Um, let's see. Are you still there, guys? This is gonna be weird. This is gonna be awkward. I'm gonna have to keep on talking. Um, she's typing. Uh huh. I'm fine. You're just quiet. I'm fine. You're just not talking at all. Anyways, I'm gonna have to hold this up while he keeps. You guys can see what he's saying, so it's not just me saying, "Oh, blah blah blah," when this is actually really happening. Um, because he was talking just fine, and then all of a sudden, nope. So yeah. Um, I don't know. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. So I go off and I go back on, and I guess it doesn't work still. He's now off. I guess he's gonna go back on. So look, he's
Hello?
hi.
Okay, so I had to take out my headphones. They're trash.
I kind of figured that out the moment you stopped talking.
Yeah, I don't know why I stopped talking. I explained my entire thing.
Literally, I don't know. I don't even know when I started to talk, but I started talking, and then I asked. So like I said like I said, oh, what are my thoughts on the PS5, blah blah blah, and I'm like, and I asked, do you remember the supposed original design for the PS5? And then there was just silence, and I was like, okay.
I see. I didn't hear you ask anything. I was talking for a good at least few minutes until I was done, and then like I heard nothing after that.
I was like, I started talking the moment I stopped hearing you talk. So I don't know what's going
Hmm.
on. To anyone that's actually watching this, but you guys can only see my
Terrible start.
perspective. No, you can only see, you guys can only see my perspective of it. So like, when he sees this, because this is gonna be uploaded on Saturday for us. For you guys, it'll be today. Um, yeah, when he sees this on Saturday, he's gonna probably be just really confused.
Probably.
Cause I was,
Anywho, should I
yeah.
just start over?
What do you mean?
Should I just restart what I said? Because I mean,
If you remember what you said, then go for it.
of course I remember what I said.
Okay.
So can you ask me the question first, and then
Well, what was the question you were replying to?
I? Yeah, that's right. I forgot you asked both. It was the first question you asked me about
What are your thoughts on the
PS5 to
PS5?
the Xbox.
What are your thoughts on the
So
PS5 and the
basically,
Xbox? Is what I said. I think.
yeah. So basically, I wish the PS5 would have gone a different route. I wish it would have kept to its guns about being backwards compatible towards everything. But I understand there's some about 2,000, 4,000 rough estimate in there games. I could say the same about Xbox, minus a few because PlayStation does own personal games that Xbox doesn't have, that PC doesn't. like God of War, and I think Darksiders is another one, but don't quote me on that. I'm not. Which is completely understandable why they backed out and got backward compatible all the way to the original PS5, or sorry, the original PS PlayStation. Um, but still, I wish they could have done something different because I do like the God of War series. I like Darksiders. I like a lot of games that are on the the PlayStation in general. And to me, PlayStation a lot better. For, yes, I guess hardcore gaming, but in a way, it's also better for your gaming experience. I guess in a way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I started off as an Xbox person, but coming from Xbox to PlayStation blew my mind because I was like, well, feels a lot better. The graphics are better. I don't know what it is, but Xbox, you're basically something I use to play movies on it. So, you know, that's my opinion.
Okay,
Aiden, do
so
you?
I'm here. My what's it called? My thoughts on the PS5 and Xbox. So I asked, so I said, "Oh, I think that," and I was trying to get to the point of the designs, and I said, "Oh, what are your?" I was like, "Do you remember the supposed original plan, like design for the PS5? You know how it's like kind of a U-shaped thing,
Yes, I do remember that. They had
like a bracket shaped thing."
about a few LED lights through it, and it was like a U shape. It had pause play, so it looked like it could also be for DVDs, possibly even Blu-ray for that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it basically could both Blu-ray, like a DVD player, as well as a gaming all in one. I thought was pretty.
He keeps cutting out, ladies and gentlemen. We're all good. Um. So yeah. My thoughts were that now I'm just trying to make sure that he can actually hear me.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So what's it called? So my thoughts. PS5 came out with the design that if you basically look at it, it's like a it's almost identical to a PS3 in some ways. It's like the PS5 standing up. Obviously, we've seen what it looks like, but if you laid it down, what's it called? I'm supposedly you can't lay it down, but I'm saying if you were to lay it down, um, it'll almost look identical to a PS3.
I guess in a way that does correlate. Cause I mean the PS3 was typically started off fatter and was kind of that same like vent design.
Right. You're cutting out again.
What did you actually hear?
No clue. All I remember hearing was, yeah, you could say that about the design because the PS3 was the one, and then just completely silent. And I was like, okay.
Well, okay, so the PS3 was more fat and bulky in a way. And the original design for the PlayStation 5 was like that U shape you're referring to. It had like the vents. It correlated with the vents a lot. The vents on the PS3 were roughly the same, and that's exactly what I said basically.
And so I was trying to go. So while you were explaining, I was going through the designs in my head of the PlayStation. I don't think we've ever seen a design that closely resembled the PS1 since the PS1.
Yeah, you have a good point there. I'm not gonna lie.
And so PS1 came out. Obviously, I wasn't alive. Neither was JC. So when the PS1 came out, it had a cool design because I have Because I actually used to have a PS1. So I think it was like a PS1 Slim. I don't remember. But like, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Um, the PS1 came out, good design, in my opinion. I think if the PS1, like if we had a game console that closely resembled the PS1, it would have like one a good nostalgia feeling, but second, like oh this is a cool design. I don't know why we don't see this more often type deal. But then what's it called? Other than that, yeah. The shit. What was I gonna say about? Oh, the PS2. Everyone knows what the hell a PS2 is, right?
They should.
So PS2 came out with a bunch of. It's actually really shocking to hear that like the last game I think they made for the PS2 was like FIFA 14, which came out in 2013, and PS2 came out in 2000. I think the no, I can't really say that. The PS2 was revolutionary, I guess, in its own right because it had a bunch of games. It had to go up against the Dreamcast and the GameCube, but it was with the PS2 that started the whole console wars between PS2 and Xbox, from what I remember, because PS2 because Microsoft had announced the Xbox in like what 2005 was it? No, 2001. I'm thinking of the 360. So yeah, it's just like obviously I think that's when it all started. Personally, I don't know because I didn't start playing games until like 2012, so I really couldn't. No, 2013, so I really can't pinpoint when it happened. But that's crazy to hear. Um, and then obviously we got the PS3, uh, which had its own. Well, I guess it's a more the PS3. Now that I actually think about this more than going off the top of my head, PS3, for some reason in my head, I it kind of looks similar to the PS5, right? I don't know why. PS3 compared to the PS3 is just a curved version of the PS2 with obviously just a lot more updates and stuff like that because it came out in 2006, I want to say. I'm gonna have to look that up because I hate when I'm wrong. If any of my friends do watch this, they would know that I hate being wrong. So PS3 came out in 2006. So yeah, I was right. Um, which is actually really crazy to think. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. You're fine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because like sometimes it's weird whenever I don't hear people talking. Um, the what's it called? The PS3, no matter what kind of design, is actually just a PS3, a PS2. I mean, more slim and well, I wouldn't say slim because the PS3 was kind of bigger, but the PS3 is basically like a curved version of the PS2, just without the disc tray. That's actually a crazy thing. PS3 was the first PlayStation without the disc tray. Apparently, when it first came around, it was somewhere around $500 to $600. Uh, like okay.
I believe that.
Apparently, the PS3 can play Blu-ray, DVD, CD, PS1, PS2, Super Audio CD, which I don't know why that's any different, but okay. Uh, Video CD and Super Video CD. Um, what's it called? PS3. Now, I had actually good games for the PS3. I had Left 4 Dead 2 for the PS3. And I think that's the only one that I could remember because that's the one that I played the most. So, like, that just sticks in, I guess. Um, so yeah, what's it called? So Xbox, okay, PS4, because let's just continue the PlayStation timeline. Whoopsie daisy, the PlayStation timeline. Um, PS4. Now that came out 2013. Um, because I remember when my uncle got one. So yeah, 2013 is when it came out. Um, PS4, I think, was kind of a downgrade because I don't know if PS3 had the same problem, but I don't think it was until the PS4 that we got like 50 gigabyte updates. You know,
Nah, the PS3 had max of maybe 15 if you're unlucky with a game.
right?
But yeah, you're right. PS4
Yeah,
would have about at least 20 to 50, yeah, for update.
and then like supposedly Warzone, because I haven't been on PS4 in like in like a week, but if you want to put that, because I only played it like once in that time span, but I've actually have not played it. I want to say since May, so I don't know what has happened on PS4 wise since May. Um, or it's like either May or the beginning of June. It's one of those two. But yeah, I heard supposedly Warzone had like a 90 gig update, which
Yeah, it sounds about right.
which if that was to happen, so let's say if Warzone came out 10 years ago, right, in 2009, which would be PS3, that would be unheard of. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be unheard. Like, I think if it came out 10 years ago, if they ever did that, if they ever updated the original Modern Warfare, and if it was like, I want to say it was maybe what like 10 gigs best if they ever do update it. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're obviously not going to. But I'm saying like if they ever did update it for like the PS3, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if they ever had updates for the PS3, like how we have PS4 updates almost all the damn time. You know, so like it's just it's just crazy.
Right.
Um, and which is crazy to think about because now here's the introduction of the PS5. How will like updates play into all that stuff? Because we're just going to have like all these updates that could potentially be more than like 100 gigs by this point.
which is true, but they've also, as I don't think many people know, they have terabytes now on our gaming systems. Who's going to say that they won't put a petabyte on there, which is, of course, if people don't know this, 1024 terabytes. So with every advancement comes more storage, more processing power, stuff like that, which is weird to think about because of the fact that sometimes that does get really difficult to be able to afford half
Right.
the time. Because say you get a terabyte of a PS for a PS4 today, it's still a good $400, and if that, you know.
Right. And like obviously the way that everything is going on, but also like people are now indoors a lot and are probably playing a bunch of video games and actually doing school work like me or going to jobs like you, like I mean it, to be honest, I think the updates are a little bit crazy. Um, because why almost why almost to be honest, I don't even know. So why almost a terabyte for an update? Or at least I think it's a terabyte. No, why almost 100 gigs for 100 gigs? Why almost 100 gigabyte for an update? Like it's kind of ridiculous in my opinion, but like it's good regardless because obviously we got all this new stuff, but let's be honest. What actually updates in the updates? You know?
To be honest, I don't know, nor do I think they ever really tell you. They're just usually like, here, you have an update.
Well, yeah, because usually whenever they come up with an update, usually they have patch notes with it as well. Because obviously they're, I mean, I don't think it's genuinely a patch, but like they just have like notes in general of like from what I hear all the time because I've never seen it, like notes about the update. But like if some of the stuff isn't broken, like don't try and fix it. But update wise, like not much of stuff is being updated at all. It's like it actually really pisses me off because I think I have like because if I want because everyone knows I'm a big wrestling guy. So those games don't even have updates no more because my games are kind of outdated. But games like Fortnite always having updates, Apex always having updates, Warzone always having updates. Like, why so many updates?
Yeah, that's true. Everything's getting updates. The newer things get, the more updates they usually have. Same with apps, except for on a console, they usually don't tell you what exactly updated, like an app would on your phone.
And okay, so you know what's crazy? You
What?
okay? So crazy part, Rockstar, from what I've heard, announced that GTA 5 would be on the PS5. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm gonna look it up just in case.
From what I hear, they're making GTA 6 on the PS.
Yeah, yeah, but like I'm saying, they're probably gonna put the GTA 5 on the PS5 just to see if it could handle GTA 6 in the near future.
True,
Cutting out.
true, that might be the case.
Yeah, yeah. So literally, they just announced they are releasing PS5 and Xbox Series X versions late 2021. Yep. So let's think about it. GTA 5 went from PS3 and Xbox 360 to PS4 and Xbox One. to PS5 and Xbox Series X. I think GTA 5 is probably the longest game without a game after. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, I can't really knock on Rockstar for that because they obviously they had to work on Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, because everyone was like, "Oh, why don't we have RDR 2?" You know, so I mean, they lived up to RDR 2. From what I've heard, it's a good game. I haven't played it personally. I wish I would, or I wish I could, but I can't because I don't have it. So yeah, like it's just crazy to think. Also, what's it called? The what has there ever been a game like from what I remember, Rockstar used to have games out almost every 3 years, maybe four. Because I do know that they've released like songs, four games in the span of 7 years, and it was like GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and GTA 4. Like those all came last decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then here we are this decade. We get GTA 5, and that's all we've gotten. Like, oh, fans want GTA 6. Let's give them GTA 5 online DLC. Like, I don't think people want DLC anymore, quite frankly. Because
True.
one time I played it for the Xbox 360, and I was bored. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Obviously, granted, I can't actually play on Xbox Live, but, I just think it's boring. Like, we had, all of a sudden, like, we had, like, the alien warfare for, like, a little bit. Like, whatever happened to that?
It left.
Like, it lasted, like, what, a month or two? Like,
Roughly, I think.
yeah, so, like, it lasted, like, a month or two. And then, like, I bet if me mentioning this is just going to bring back memories of the alien warfare that they should had. Like, GTA 5 had. And, like, that's crazy because, like, we weren't, what's it fucking called? We weren't, how could I say this? I bet no one remembered what that was until I had mentioned it just now. You know?
Yeah, probably not.
So, like, that's just crazy to think about. Um, Xbox now that because we skipped the whole Xbox part. Xbox, I still have the original Xbox. Like, it's right next to me. Like, that's still crazy. I have the original one. I have that one and the 360, but I do not have the Xbox One.
I've only ever had the 360. So,
Yeah, I've had the original Xbox. I've played Doom 3, part of the original Doom series. So I played Doom 3. Uh, I've played Need for Speed. I don't remember which one. I think it was like Underground 2 maybe. I also played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I don't remember if it was for the Xbox or the PS2 though, so I could be wrong. Um, I think I've even played Lego Star Wars. So, so I've played a couple games for the original Xbox. But the only and I've even played like me being a wrestling fan, of course. I've had to have a wrestling game for the Xbox original, which I did. Turned out I didn't realize it was like almost a knockoff, but it wasn't really because it still had like actual people in it. But you know what I mean.
Right.
So yeah, um, 360 rolls around, and I think I've had the most games on there. Yeah, I think I've had the most games on the, and I've even going back to the original Xbox. I've even played Call of Duty 3. Like I still have that game. That game's old. Anyways, Xbox 360. I've had a lot of games. Um, Mainly I played wrestling games on there, but I've also had like I've also played Black Ops on there, Minecraft on there, Advanced Warfare. As awful as it was, I mean it was kind of alright, but like still, I've even played. Hell, even some of I think like one of my songs are on is on the Xbox because Xbox, from my knowledge, I mean we're not discrediting the PS3, but I'm saying like PS3 and the Xbox, last generation that we could have put CDs and ripped them into the console.
Probably, yeah.
And now here we are, Xbox One and PS4, and they got rid of that ability. From what I remember, PS4 for whatever reason, you can't play CDs, so that sucks. Um, which is actually a really big turnoff. Like you can't play CDs for a console anymore. And I realized this a couple months ago when I was trying to put some of my songs onto CDs because I don't know why. I like doing stuff with CDs, and then yeah, there's nothing. And then so yeah, I had to rip it and put it into the Xbox 360, and I was like, oh, it works for the 360. Um, Hopefully we can get that ability because I mean I don't think we will because I think we'll just have Spotify again for the PS4.
Probably that, yeah.
And so like it's just I don't know. Um, Moving on from video games for I don't know how long. I bought a hat recently. I wanted a bucket hat, but instead I got who knows really. I got a baseball cap. Anyways, let's just say I bought markers trying to design it. They don't fucking work. It I don't think it's the right type of marker, and so I fucked myself over. So that's nice. Um, who knows? Um, Moving on from that though. Um, Music. Now, do we have music planned or not? For anyone that doesn't know, me, JC, Steven, and our friend Skyboy are because he wants us to call him Skyboy. He doesn't want us to call him by his real name. So yeah, yeah. I think. Do I have music coming out? Yes, on the 30th actually, which for some reason I thought time passed and it was almost the 30th. From the last time I checked, no, it's still the 16th. The day that we're recording this, the 16th, which is crazy. So by the time this comes out, this video, it would have been the 20th, I think. But who knows? Um, Other than that, I have some songs that I've recorded, but I don't genuinely know. I also found out I have a couple songs I made without realizing, so that's fun. Do you have any songs or anything like that coming out?
Currently, I am not able to record until I get better headphones, which I will be getting towards my birthday. So until then, I have lyrics created. I have a bunch of songs ready to be posted when that does happen.
Yeah, and me, I have I think a few songs, and there's some songs that I've made, and I don't remember making it. Like, there's a song I found out today that I made apparently called "Watch You Leave," and now that I think about it, I do remember it in my head, like what that song is, but I don't have it anymore because it was part of the lost songs list.
Right.
So like, I'm actually discovering stuff that I completely forgot about. So that's fun, I guess. Let's think. Let's think. So me and JC, we put out an EP 2 months ago. For us, it would have been tomorrow. For us, would be 2 months ago. For you guys, it would have been a couple days ago. Um, we released it April 17th. Um, when, if I still had space on my SoundCloud, that would still be unreleased because of how everything was scheduled and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in case anyone doesn't know, I released Down for You, the EP, and I ran out of storage basically on. Well, I didn't say then, but was it April 6th, 17th? I'm gonna have to look it up. But um, I don't remember if it was April 17th, but I will look into that. But I ran out of storage. I don't know, sometime ago, and for some reason that just doesn't stick. I don't know why April 7th. I'm sure it was April 17th. But anyways, um, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm running out of storage for the because I don't have SoundCloud Pro. I just have the basic free SoundCloud. And so I was like, oh, can you release it on your account? And he was like, yeah, sure. Um, I don't think I've ever done a music review, but I mean, I'm willing to do music reviews. Um, the EP was originally, I mean, to be fair, it was a totally different track list, the official one, than the one I suggested. But I mean, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't have really, I didn't have control over it at that point. So yeah, so I was like, oh, JC, you'll have control over it. Basically, you can do whatever you want with it. Just as long as you put my name next to it, because then I'll hate it if you don't mention me, because some of the songs are just me, and that would be weird. Um, yeah. So that came out in April. Um, so okay, so it was supposed to originally come out June 30th, but I was like, it's his thing now. Like he can release it whenever. And he was like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like what could possibly be bad? So he released April 17th. Um, and yeah, I could say that like I was surprised because there was a completely different track list. So I was like, oh shoot, like this isn't usually the order that I had it in. So it's gonna be nice to hear something different. So I was like, okay. Um, so I was listening to it, and then it was like the first thing I thought was this rushed?
What?
So like I was thinking like, so I was like, so when we first listened, so it was me, Skyboy, and another friend of ours that we don't really mention anymore. Um, and so yeah, what's it called? So we were listening to it and we were like, oh, my first thought was the sounds kind of rushed, like as if your recordings were like, you know what I mean?
How do you mean?
Like, oh, like when I said that when I said this is, because remember, because I asked him, so I asked you, I was like, oh, um, yeah, so I asked you, what's it called? Oh, can you can you it's this is yours now, do this and this. Literally, I think that was 2 weeks when I asked him before it came out, and I was like, this sounds like, to me personally, like, don't take this the wrong way. I just like, oh, this sounds like it was rushed, like like understandably, like you probably wanted it to be out, and so I was like, I'm not really gonna say anything bad because because at the time you were still living in Georgia, so like things were probably a lot more different than it is now. So I was like, this sounds a little bit rushed, but I'm just gonna give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it was quite rushed because when I was in Georgia, I had no time to myself. I didn't have my own room. I was living in a one bedroom apartment and I lived on the living room, quite literally I slept on the couch. So whenever they were gone, I had to rush myself to get a recording done and make it sound at least halfway decent. And sometimes that didn't work out like I wanted it to.
So let me let me look on my phone because I kind of forgot that I'm recording the screen and I can't switch the screen without it actually showing in the video. Um,
Because the fact that I had to rush myself was hard enough as is because we already had postponed this thing like for a
no,
long
no, no, no,
time.
no, no, no. We're
So
talking about me and you, the REP. We had. So in case no one knows, we met 2018. That's when we became friends. 2018? Jeez, that doesn't sound right at all.
it couldn't have been a year before I graduated. I thought it was 2 years before I graduated.
No, cause no, I met you your senior year. I met you your senior year because it was my sophomore year. So that was last year.
No, because
Yeah,
wait a minute, was it my senior year?
yeah,
That doesn't sound right.
cause they had just redone the football stadium.
Oh yeah, and the next year the fifth quarter was a thing, or it wasn't a thing
So
anymore.
like
That's
yeah,
right.
so in case no one knows, we went to the same high school. Um, my freshman year, which is his junior year, our god damn, our football stadium was, I mean, it's memorable because shit was easy to find. Like, oh, this is the concessions. Was there even another concession on the other side? So there was a concession, bathroom,
No, not until
simple,
they built it.
until they built the new one, right? So there was like, oh yeah, so yeah, it was just concession and all that, and then the I remember the old concession, like it was just, I want to say it looked like a hut, like it looked like one of those things you'd find at a local park. It was like one of those concessions. It was like one of those buildings.
The funny thing is that the old concession and the new one technically don't have much of a difference
Yeah, not
because of the
much on the
fact that
inside.
they basically just made it the same thing on two different sides instead of one thing in the middle.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, like the new one, cause so the following year, which was my sophomore year, which was I guess supposedly 2 years ago. Jesus. Um, they they modernized our football stadium. Now the football stadium was I thought it looked fine the way it was, right? Originally, they had gotten rid of the trophy, not trophy, the statue. The fuck? Yeah, the statue. They got rid of the statue originally, but then I guess they just had it hidden somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
And it's what's his name? Oh, what's his name? Who is the runner that we have a statue of? We have an Olympic runner that we have a statue of.
I don't remember his name.
I'm looking it up right now. Um, um, let's see. I don't remember. What is his name? Tommy Smith. Yeah, we have we have a what's it called? We have a statue of Tommy Smith because he went to our high school when he was younger, which is something I never knew. I didn't know that because you can call him a celebrity. We did that. We even had a celebrity at our school.
I didn't realize that counted.
Yeah, Tommy Smith, who grew up. Um, wait, is this right? Yeah. So on Wikipedia, he was born June 6th, 1944. Mind you, that's a long time ago. That's like 80 years now, almost. So he was born in Texas, but he suffered from pneumonia. But he grew up to be an athletic youth, I guess. And he went to our school. And supposedly, I've never seen it because uh, usually wherever our event center is, they usually hold all the stuff there. Personally, I haven't been in there a lot this year, so I can't really say, oh yeah, this is accurate. But it says Smith showed great potential, setting most of the school's track records, many of which remain. That one I don't know if, obviously, because I haven't seen it, but I don't know if the records are still up there or not. And what Olympics did he do? Um, he did the 1968 Summer Olympics. Yeah.
This is totally off topic, but I didn't realize until I look at it. My stepmom gave me a golden choker, like a gold chain choker, for a girlfriend that I might have over here.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You're one tidbit into JC's life.
Yes, there you go. I really don't care. I'm an open book, people.
Yeah, which, because when he said it was off topic, I didn't think it was going to be this off topic. I was like, jeez. Oh, so I asked.
Hey, I can go to some wild
Yeah,
places, man.
yeah, we know. I know. I know. You paid the price once before. I do remember that. I mean, that's kind of what happens. That's what you get.
We don't go there, Aiden. We don't go to the time that I
Yeah,
looked
but
through your
that yeah,
phone.
but yeah, that's So if you could imagine from what he just said, he looked at my phone once. You could only imagine because, well, he got what was coming to him, and I couldn't have been more proud. Um, Now let's look. Okay, so I asked people, "Oh, can you?" And I told them I don't care how personal it is, but I asked them, "Oh, can you? What's it called? Can you?" I asked, "Can you ask me questions?" Right.
Right.
So I put this 2 days ago. So I put, "Ask me anything. It could be a personal question or just a random question. I'm going to answer them on the podcast because why not? You know, this is like a platform to let me elaborate on stuff." So the first question I got was, "What do I think of Black Lives Matter?" Now, personally, I can't speak on that. You know, because I never had.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'd never had that problem, but like, I, I've never had the problem where, oh, if I walk outside, I could die. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it sucks because part of my family is African American, so I can only imagine what they're going through. You know, and I'm happy that like I'm happy they're speaking out and like raising their voices, trying to be heard. Um, Now, I personally, yes, because I've mentioned this a lot. I mentioned, especially in this last week, I mentioned that if I ever become president, you know, I'll just keep all whites from. I'll make it illegal for like white people to just not be police officers. Because I mean, because let's be honest, what? Like we're still having this problem today. You know what I mean? Like 1865, we end slavery. Still
As
not
a fellow white person that understands this, I agree with him. So before anyone gets mad,
right.
I agree. And because this shit's been going on for far too long. Excuse
And
my language,
like
but
obviously,
it's been going on for way too.
yeah, it's been going on for way too long. And personally, I've never had the problem where if going outside might be the last time I go outside. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
2020, we all know it's been a bad year, right? No, you don't have to hear that to know that it's been a bad year. But but like we've been having this problem since like almost the beginning of this entire, basically since the beginning of the country, with the way that
True.
with the way African Americans are treated and how they're perceived, and what their perception is by the by social media and how newslets and like news outlets perceive them as. Because let's be honest, right? So I saw this video, which, to be fair, is like a true statement. How many news outlets do you see calling white people thugs?
None.
None. So, and they've shown videos of white people destroying cars, jumping on cars, destroying things, right? Oh, news outlets portray them as college kids having fun.
True.
But then you see in the media, personally, no, personally, I think that the way, I'm just going to say this just from off the top of my head because this is what I'm trying to get my point across, is that we should not believe everything we see. You know? Like,
Most media is lies anyway.
right.
I mean, there's only so much you can really trust.
Yeah, there's so little, like, there's so much and so little that you can actually trust and actually receive and just digest how things actually are. Now, if you were to actually, like, because I've seen some videos where, like, a bunch of white kids that are skateboarders are destroying buildings, and how does the news media perceive it as? It's the African Americans that are protesting going violent. which is not the case. Now, granted, if you attack protest, okay, protesting on the street probably isn't the smartest idea. Let's just be honest there. I'm just gonna say that because I mean, isn't that like against the law to be in the street to protest? I could be wrong here, but that's yeah. Um, Protesting on the sidewalk, that's fine. You know, like let your voice be heard, and if people don't actually hear your message or and you know like process it, I mean, obviously it's not gonna get the point across. If but I can understand the fact that like oh they're tired of being silent and they're finally voicing their stresses and how this has been just a major problem. I don't think genuinely just in our country, but like I'm just saying like in our country alone because this is where the main from what I can see from reliable sources. By reliable sources, I mean social media, which probably isn't the most reliable source, but you know it's from the perspective of actually the protesters, so I can at least count it as reliable in my, you know, in my head. But yeah, I just that's just it's just crazy to think that we still have this problem in 2020. Um, I've heard of a bunch of racist people spitting on people, um, calling them the N word. You know, I've heard them not in person, but I've seen like just in from what I've seen on social media because I'm a teenager. People, I go through social media. It's just what I do. So I think it sucks. Can I do something about it? I mean, I could try. I just don't know what it is that I could do to try and help. But if I had the chance to, I could. Now, could I go protest on the street? However, like actually be there to protest, and I don't want to sound like a negative person, but like obviously, you know, you can protest all you want, right? Protesting, personally, protesting doesn't bother me. But if I was to go protest, the first thing that come up on my mind is my safety. You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that.
And like obviously, as touchy of a subject this is, and I'm not trying to sound, you know, like as if I don't care, but I do care because obviously, what's it called? My family is like a bunch of races, but I can things that pisses me off about this whole thing is anyone that says all lives matter because let's be honest, no one ever said all like only black lives matter. You know what I mean? No one ever said that.
True.
And like, by the way, if he's like just saying like tidbits of words, know that he just has because you're probably an hour. We're probably like an hour into this podcast. His Wi-Fi isn't the best. I'm just saying. So yeah. Um.
It's either that or it's just this phone's retarded right now. One of the
Yeah, one or the other. And so I mean, like people saying, "Oh, all lives matter." Like, well, yeah, of course, all lives matter. You know what I mean? Until they don't. It's like, so like, what happens if you break your leg, right? You break your leg, you go to the doctor, and then some other patient, let's just call him that, will say, "But what about my leg? Doesn't my leg matter?" Well, yeah, but is that shit broken? No. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
it only matters till it doesn't. You know, and I think right now with the BLM movement, with the Black Lives Matter movement, that I think it's great that their voices are being heard, and that I think justice should happen to everybody that was acquitted of any crimes. You know what I mean? Anyone that's ever shot and killed an innocent person, they should just die. You know?
Yeah.
So my 14-year-old brother is walking in the background. I don't know. I might because that one's the last one. Anyways, yeah, I just it sucks. I'm just gonna say it sucks, and that I wish people, at least the ones that were that killed people, like you know what I mean, just all the. I think justice should be served regardless. Um, it's just really touchy, and I don't want to piss off the wrong people. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I agree with you because that subject's a lot touchier than
I
it
mean,
should be. But at this point in life, because it's been almost 2,000 years of this, so I don't even know why it's gone on that long, but it has.
2,000. You mean 200?
You knew what I meant.
Yeah. So like that. Th- Basically, since the beginning of our country, we have had so we've had African Americans. Like, let's be honest. Before Abraham Lincoln did anything, right? We had no records whatsoever of African Americans, despite them them being here. Like we don't know when any African American was born. I think pre 1865. You know, sometimes we don't even know
Yeah.
when they died. You know what I mean? Because they weren't perceived as people, and I think that sucks. I think that sucks because they're obviously people. They work and bleed like people. They talk and eat like people. They drink like people. They are people. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why we still have this problem. But
I don't know.
moving on from that, um, my friend Johan asked, "How am I? How have I been?" I should have probably answered this on Instagram, but I'm gonna answer it here because it's still technically a question. Um, I've been doing fine. I've already got out of jail yesterday, so or 2 days ago. So props to him. I believe he should be at least 15 by now. So yeah, props to him. That's crazy, actually. Now that I think about it, huh, he should be 15 by now. Anyways, I was also asked, why is Chris gay? No clue. Thank you, Paul. No clue. I have no clue why. Paul Gouveia, everybody. Um, and yeah, that's actually the last question I got from there. Um, as we, oh, yeah, I don't really have anything to say. Do you like anything else you want to talk about or anything like that?
Honestly, other than the fact that, you know, the last subject is very touchy, but
Right.
I would totally agree that everything really does need to change. Heck, if I had my way with it, every person in Senate, the government in general, would be assassinated, and then we'd start refresh.
Well, I mean, you gotta be really.
Personally, I mean, heck, to be honest, the corruption has started a long time ago when Thomas Jefferson decided to go against what George Washington wanted, which he wanted a no government system,
Did he?
but no one listened.
Um, so obviously he has graduated the high school. I have not yet graduated the high school because I'm just becoming a senior. Shockingly. Um, yep. Other than that, um, I just think we need to vote Donald Trump out of the office again. And
That too.
I got called a liberal the other day, and I had no clue what the fuck liberal meant. Right? Because I mean, do I really care about
Right.
politics? No, but like, will I talk about it? Sorta. So, do I care? Probably little. Um, so basically, yeah, it was like a picture of Donald Trump with Rosa Parks from like 50 years ago, right? I want to say, I could be wrong. I don't know when the picture was taken, but it was like, so people in the comments of on Instagram, because I saw this on Instagram, they're like, "Oh, Trump's not racist. Look how he supports us," and I'm like, did y'all forget what his campaign was about? Do you remember what his campaign was about?
I don't remember mainly because I care less about most politics today because to me everything's gone to absolute just shit. So it's really hard for me to care at this point because of the fact that I wish things were so much better than they are because everything's gone downhill.
Right, but like his original campaign was, oh, Mexico? That Mexico is where all the criminals are coming from. We got to build a wall and start deporting people. Like that was basically his campaign. He was like, so basically it's like, from what I got, the message I got from his entire campaign was that he perceived Mexicans as evil. You know. And then I looked up the other day.
True.
I looked up on YouTube Donald Trump being racist, and guess what? There's a lot of videos on that. A lot. But who knows? Um, one thing the only thing I had that actually I would have supported Trump for was that he was against abortion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that's like the only thing I would support him for. But yeah, so I had an argument with this one dude, and he was like, "Yeah, but like 60% of the criminals are coming from Mexico," and I'm like, if we're talking about criminals, then say criminals. Don't just like don't like classify them by race. You know what I mean? Like, let's say right, if someone like basically because what I got out of that was basically he's calling Mexicans criminals is what I got out of that statement of the argument. Right? Was that? And by the way, this whole past weekend I've been getting into arguments on social media, and I don't mind, but he was like, yeah, if I remember correctly, he said, "Oh, but yeah, 60% of the criminals are coming from Mexico." Okay, if that's the case, like no, 60% of people coming out of Mexico are criminals, something like that, right? And I'm like, if we're talking about criminals, then call them criminals. Don't call them Mexicans because you're just gonna make it sound like it's just coming all from Mexico, you know?
Right.
And then like, oh, we have Trump talking about an Arab woman from like 2 years ago, and how everyone at his rally was like, oh, send her back, like as in send her back to her country because Donald Trump, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I mean, technically, I guess I could be seen as a liberal, but that last part about the Arab wasn't even racist at all. It was just like it was about something completely different, but I don't know. That one just caught my attention first, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't him being racist at all." Like, not at least to this part. Like, he was talking about something way different, but he did mention how places like fuck, I don't really know, but it was like some other country in the Middle East where he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys' countries are almost destroyed, and she's trying to come over here and tell us how to run our country." We don't even know how to run our own country.
True.
Like, how many cities, like big cities, do people know that aren't burnt or aren't destroyed? You know what I mean? Because of people that want to actually just destroy things. But yeah.
I was thinking that.
So yeah. Anyways, I got called a liberal. Um, and because I didn't really feel like arguing anymore, I just said okay. And then literally, some other dude was like, look at him trying like a liberal," and I'm like, "What the fuck's a liberal?" Because I don't know what the hell a liberal is, right? So I'm just like, "What the fuck's a liberal?" Like if I speak, like that's just coming out of my mind. Most of the time I don't know what I'm talking about. I just talk about and it just goes. So I don't know. Um, yeah. There's really nothing else to talk about. I do miss wrestling on the trampoline with David. Um, I'm just getting fat, and I was gonna go on a diet, and then I stopped going on a diet because I missed that I could eat some really good food. So
Speaking of, what happened to him?
who?
David.
He's fine. He just has
What do you
really
mean
terrible
gone?
Wi-Fi.
What do you mean gone?
I said he's fine.
Oh, he said he's gone. I was like, what?
No,
Where'd he
like he's
go?
fine, but he's gonna move soon. He's gonna move out of town. Like he's still gonna be in Lemoore,
Damn,
but he's gonna be out of town from what I remember.
that sucks.
Yeah, but like he said his internet would be better by that point, so I'm really hoping so.
Well, if that's the case, then I need to learn how to drive him quick. We can get over.
True. I also need to buy. Oh, cause okay, I want to talk about pro wrestling because why not? So I want to buy a wrestling ring. I also want to buy wrestling gear. Uh, a character I originally proposed was Spawn. Little to my knowledge, I didn't know Spawn was black. You know, like I kind of forgot who Spawn was in the Spider-Man universe. So I was like, oh, I can be Spawn. But it just seems a little bit out of character, because like if there's ever a pro wrestler that should be Spawn, he should be African American because he's African American in the comics. You know,
True, yeah, I agree.
like so JC wanted to be the Carnage character. That's fine. David wanted to be the Venom character. That's fine. Now I gotta find a way. Now I gotta look up how many symbiotes, like in the Spider-Man universe, were white or Asian, because I mean I'm both. So like, oh well. I'll look into that later. Um, yeah, I want to buy a wrestling gear. I'm also trying to buy a wrestling ring. Imagine that, a wrestling ring, bro. Let's just put that in our house in LA. Do you think? I don't think they'll let us, honestly.
I mean, technically, it'd be our house, so yes, I'm pretty sure they would let it.
True, true. Who knows? Uh, well, because we'll just need to find if there's a big enough room in LA in the house. You know?
True.
Cut out.
Yeah, I just said true.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I want to do wrestling training here in Fresno, because I don't know why. I just think Fresno is closer to where I'm at right now currently, and all of my friends that are going to do it, pro wrestling things, are going to do it in Fresno. The training, I hope. If not, I might do it in LA.
So, here's a good question because I still have no idea, and I thought of this like yesterday when we parted ways. Do I still have the 24/7 title?
No. So
So have all those been revoked? Are we
no, 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 no,
restarting the
no.
whole
So
entire?
what happened was that I started doing, because whenever you left to go to Georgia, I started doing everything online because we weren't hanging out anymore, and it just felt weird. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
started.
Okay, that
So
makes
I
sense.
started doing everything on the PS4. Now I wish we could do it still in real life, but that's obviously not the case. So you know, I will look at the records right now once I find it. For anyone that don't know, me and my friend David, we run a little indie promotion with my friends. Cause why not? Do we pay each other? No. Cause do I get paid? No. Do they get paid? No. And their contract is specifically says they don't get paid. You can ask JC. He signed it. I want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had to make my own money, so I mean, I don't really have anything to say.
But like, even if I did have money to give them, we don't do this on a regular basis. You know. I mean, if I do, I wish I had the money to pay them all the time to make it legitimate. Yes, that'd be cool. You know. But like, probably like $100 a show. That'd be cool. If we even make that much money. But yeah. Um. So to go with that. So our world champion, our HWF. Well, technically, it's now the HWF Undisputed Championship because I was doing something similar called Full Zone Wrestling at the time, which was last December on YouTube, which is what is on my main channel. I was doing that, and oh, I had a burp. Anyways, yeah, so I combined basically all the titles together, and yeah, that's how we came up with Undisputed stuff. So HWF Undisputed Champion is Johnny right now, who has been champion since January 26, 2019. Yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's almost a year and a half. Actually,
Damn.
I think it is a year and a half. It's like a little bit past that. Maybe I could be wrong. Um, yeah.
It's almost a year and a half.
And I stopped doing the shows because PS4 for whatever fucking reason would not upload the matches. So I decided, okay, I'll just wait it out. You know, I was like, oh, because I recorded an event called Cyber Sunday, which is actually a WWE trademarked thing. Whoops, but like, it's an event where like you guys can vote on the outcome, not really the outcome, but like who challenges who and all that other stuff. Basically, you guys can vote on certain aspects of the show. So I was doing that, and the PS4 just completely said nah. So I don't know what happened there. Also, I was gonna record a breakout tournament for the thing, but we had to cancel that because after this pandemic hit, me and my broadcast partner, who is not JC, it was Johnny, which is the undisputed champion. Quite shockingly, he obviously couldn't come over. You know what I mean? So, and at the time, we couldn't talk to you because we can't do tournaments online because all the characters that I used for the show are on my profile. So that would not have worked out at all. Um, so yeah, uh, Johnny is the he actually beat it was I think the video's up on YouTube if I remember this correctly. It was because me and Johnny did voice work. We did commentary for this, so it was me, not me. Was it me? I don't know. Johnny, David, I believe you, and I believe Ty. I could be wrong. I will link it. Just so I'll link it in the description so you guys can find it easily. But yeah, um, yeah. So basically, Johnny became the new Intercontinental Champion on March 7th, 2020, and when David lost the title, he held the title for 831 days. David's Precious became Johnny's belt. Do you remember that belt?
Sorry, yes, I remember that belt.
Cut out.
Yes, I remember that
I like how it says yes. I remember that, and then like that's it. But anyways,
belt.
yeah. Um, so yeah, we nicknamed it David's Precious because he was against the idea of losing it, and then I was playing as David defending the title, but it wasn't David that got pinned in the match. If that makes sense, it was someone else. I think it was Ty. Yeah, so it was David defending the title against Johnny, Ty, and you. I want to say. So yeah, because it was gonna be originally for Cyber Sunday, but something happened in the game where like that couldn't happen, I guess, or whatever the fuck. So yeah, um, so we recorded it early and find out that well Johnny wins the title and not by pinning the champ. So when I told David this at school, he was fine. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, it doesn't really bother me. He was planning on dropping most of his titles anyways because David, as co-promoter, he gave himself a lot of titles. I'm just gonna say. Um, we don't have a current U.S. champion because obviously you guys could not see because the footage was never uploaded. We did I don't remember if this actually went up or not, but it was so we did a double. So it was a last man. No, it was an Iron Man match, it was me and Ty. Basically, whoever can get the most wins win. Well, we tied. So I ruled it that because the champion because it was a tie, and that we could not settle a tiebreaker, the title will be vacated. So there is actually no U.S. champion currently. But on the last in the history books, the last U.S. champion was me, but I uh, I lost it. So the World Tag Team Champions currently, according to my history thing on the record books, for some reason I don't think it's accurate, but it is. So I mean I think it's accurate. So I'm hoping so. Is the Misfits, which is Johnny and Ty.
Do I even have any titles? Do we have any titles together? Because I think we're still the syndicate.
Um. Oh, so I do want to mention the Extreme 24/7 title was deactivated some time ago. I think I think after you'd left. It was like we don't use that belt anymore because anything we did wasn't really 24/7, so it would not have worked.
I'm totally okay with that because you're not wrong.
But JC is still currently the next gen champion. However,
Okay, that sounds about right.
yeah, he's held it since February 12th of this year, which is shocking because he was in
Okay, well, I
Georgia.
wasn't here. Got
He won it in Georgia because it was online.
correct.
Who did he beat for it? David. If you didn't guess by now that mainly David has been holding almost all the belts, then you must have not heard me like 5 minutes ago. Um,
Yeah, because I was gonna say I was there when you made that
we
roster, and the
yeah,
majority of the belts went to David because that was what we based it off of in real life.
right. But so we made the match before he left. It was going to be because we usually hold our events live. Well, not really live, but I'm saying like in person. So it was going to be David and JC for the next gen title. We were going to put JC over because we wanted to help because we were training. We were basically giving JC training.
This is true.
Yeah. So like we were basically it was me and David teaching him how to do pro wrestling, which is WWE wrestling for anyone that doesn't know. Which, to be fair, me and David have almost a decade of experience. Well, I mean, I almost have a decade of experience. David definitely has a decade of experience. He's been doing this since he was 3. So yes, you could you could probably be safe with us. You know what I mean?
I totally trusted you anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So like, if we tell you that you messed up, we're gonna be really honest. You messed up. We're probably gonna say, yeah, you could do that, but like do it a little bit better. JC is a tall fucker, right? Imagine him on a trampoline that he's almost three quarters the size of falling. Like he's gonna have trouble. So we were like, how are we gonna do this? No, I think you're like half the trampoline, maybe.
Let's just say I'm pretty sure my feet at least touched the edge, and my head was at least a few feet away from the other edge.
Right, because we used the circle trampoline because that's like the most common, I guess. Um, yeah, David is actually the only cruiserweight in our cruiserweight division. I also made some fictional
What
people.
was that weight again?
Fuck it, 130. No, no,
I'm surprised he's
no,
still
no.
there.
David's like 130, but the we put it like 150. Yeah, 150 was like the limit. But
Uh,
cut out lagging. But I do want to elaborate. I made some fictional people. Hold on. I made some fictional people for in the video game. So whenever I do the video game, we'd have like a little bit bigger of a roster. And so I think I moved it up 170. So I think 170 is now the cruiserweight limit because everyone I made in the game that I use in the game is like under 205 pounds. If I remember correctly, a real life person named Chris Wittenberg and fake person Tommy King are the heaviest people on the roster. The hell? Hello. So we gotta wait. What is going on? Hold up. Yeah, I know you guys can see OBS. Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to fix Discord. Okay, don't make fun of me. I'm trying my best here. Discord wants to fail on me, which is weird because my Wi-Fi is not that bad. I don't understand. We're gonna get back to JC in a bit. Once we do get to him, we'll keep on talking about what we were talking about. Oh, I'll definitely tweet you guys. I will definitely do that. Genuinely, I hate whenever it does that because for some reason it was doing fine. Yeah, like we're connected to Wi-Fi. I don't understand. This is still gonna be left in, so you can laugh all you want in the comments. I don't really care. It's common. Um, hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So Discord just completely disconnected me.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'm like, the Wi-Fi wasn't even. It was just good, and then all of a sudden, I just hear the what's it called the
The disconnect sound.
yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I thought it was you. So I'm like, oh, he's gonna come, and I look down, like come back, and I was like, and I look down, I just see disconnected, reconnecting. I'm like, what the hell? Like it this does it, like, it does that randomly. What was the last thing I talked about from your end?
From my end, we you stopped us talking about how you made some other characters and how you were going through
Right.
different
So
matches.
so we updated the cruiserweight limit to 170 just so like we'd have a cruiserweight division. At least I believe it was 170. It could be 170, 175. I don't remember correctly. I'd have to go back to my room and find the folder that the binder that I used to write it down when Johnny was here. Whenever we were doing commentary. So yeah, David's currently the cruiserweight champion. At least that's what it says here. So I'm gonna believe it. And then David is the current hardcore champion. What's it called?
Okay.
So yeah, you are currently the fuck. What are you currently? You are currently the next gen champion. And because we are not an essential service here in California, I am gonna pretend like as if I want to make this legitimate, and I'm just not gonna make any new videos on it. And I had stuff planned out too, so I'm actually really upset. I'm gonna have to wait a while. Um, so yeah, so we trained JC. Um, do you even remember how that went?
What do you mean?
Like how we were like, oh, fall, fall on your back. Make sure your arms are straight out. Don't land on your elbows because that'll hurt eventually. Here, run these. We call them the ropes, even though it's a net. So run the net.
Yeah, we
Run the
remember.
corners.
I remember those. Yeah.
So we told them. So we told them. We always tell them run the corners. We say corners because our net, well, not our net, his net, David's net, is kind of loose. So we tell them run the corners instead, because what we do, if you ever seen a WWE match, they sometimes they stand at corners, like in the corner, they just stand there, like oh they're tired, so okay run the corners. So we tell them run the corners instead, like so you have something to like bounce yourself off of, but not too much. So when we say okay run the net this time, so we tell them run the net, they almost go flying out. Like the net's that loose, like they almost go flying out. So yeah, um, we did that. We also, what else did we do? We also did that. We also did the. I think we did a triple threat. It was me, you, David.
That is correct, and I think I ended up getting the 24/7 from that, or you ended up getting the US
No,
from
no, that
that.
was the next gen.
Which
That's how
one
you
was
won
it?
it. The first time, it was the next
Oh, that's
gen.
right. You're right.
No, 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 it wasn't, because that's
You're right.
online. No, that's online. That's online. How? I think it was 24/7. Now you think about it, but
I think it was too because you ended up winning, but then David and me both turned against you, and I won.
yeah, and so that happened, and then oh, the U.S. title on the line. Okay, cool. Um, I actually walked out the winner. Shockingly, I didn't think they'd actually let me, but I did. So I was like, okay, cool. And yeah, I think that's the last time we did that.
It was the last time.
So and then afterwards, he moved to Georgia because he hated us, and then he come back because he realized how much he missed us. So yep.
Okay, one, it wasn't because I hated you guys. It was because I hated my mother. Two,
Yes.
I really missed you guys all throughout being there for 5 months.
And then we were like, what the fuck? And then like he told us, oh, we're coming back in March. Yay! Pandemic hits. So I'm not coming back by March. And we were like, what the fuck? So in May he tells us, oh, I'm coming back in June. We were like, yes, finally. And I legit DM'd him saying, you better not be lying to me. I want to make sure this is genuine. So he showed me his ticket, and I was like, oh, okay, bet, cool. So yeah, he is here in California now. Um, Shockingly, I keep forgetting to do every hour on the hour. which he's been lucky a few times. So
I'm
yeah,
especially lucky. I was especially lucky the day we went to both Popeyes and McDonald's. So
right. Because I was like, well, it's been a while, and I'm just used to just hanging out and just chilling. So 'cause usually whenever we do in the hour, every hour on the hour, I don't do it in public. So it's just weird.
usually I'm spending the night. And that doesn't usually happen often anymore because of.
Yeah. So yeah. Do I wish we could? I've been trying to get. I've been trying to even before the pandemic hit. I've been trying to get to wrestle with David, but David's just been busy with personal home stuff. So yep.
I love how this turned in from the PlayStation and the Xbox to our own personal lives.
we talk about whatever we want here.
I
We
know,
talk about
right? This is like just the place to talk about your feelings.
exactly. Other than that, now this time, I really don't have anything else to say. Um, yeah.
No, I got nothing either. I think we talked about what we wanted to.
All right. So go listen to my new EP called Vibe. It's coming out on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music and Amazon Music, which was actually very shocking. And yep, June 30th. It'll come out on those days. Well, on those platforms on June 30th. So, yep.
Also, because this is my best friend, and I don't think most people, or I'm not entirely sure, if most people realize this. Our Miss You EP is on my JM Juice account on SoundCloud. It is not on
Yes.
Aiden for real,
No.
as it would have been had he had Pro.
Yes.
I have a few songs in there as well that are also singles, and we have some together. I think a couple of them, and he
Yep.
has his own singles. So go check that out if you haven't already. If you didn't know it was the other thing, now you know.
Yeah, because I did forget to mention that. So there's that. I'll put them in the link below. I'll watch this over tonight when I have nothing else to do. What the fuck was that? Anyways, I swear my neighborhood's just awful. Um, what the fuck did I just see? Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. Talk about. Oh, it's just a moth. For fuck's sake. Okay, it's just a moth flying out the window. Weird. Okay. Um. So yeah, I got nothing else about that. SoundCloud will be in the description. Basically, all of our social media will also be in the description below. I will probably do the same thing on the last video for Ethan, who was here on the podcast, but he couldn't be here today. So yeah. If you got anything else to say, which I know you probably might or not might. Do you have anything else to say?
No, that should be all.
Okay. Remember, don't be a simp unless you absolutely love him. Unless you absolutely love your girl. And if you want those kinky messages, make sure you hit them up 24/7. Because if not, they're gonna start going batshit crazy on you. Um, yeah. Um, hope you guys had a good day. This is Just Plays.